Hi guys, I'm Dogboy3019 and these are my top 5 tips for keeping your conveyor belts nice and organised in Satisfactory. I hope you enjoy. Tip number 1 is to use foundations. If we look over here, you can see the surface is nice and flat. It's basically perfect. It's a blank canvas to place conveyors on. Whereas here, the ground's uneven, and if we place a support for a conveyor, you can see that placement of the conveyor is very free flowing. This could actually affect consistency when you place conveyor belts. You have to be very careful to make sure those guidelines are all nice and lined up before placing. As you can see, it'd be quite difficult just because it doesn't clip anywhere that you need it to do. So if we clip this here, to me it looks slightly out, but slightly out, just because of that inconsistency and that freedom to movement. Whereas if we go to the foundations, you can see the support is actually clipping to specific areas of the foundations, and you can use the lines on the foundations themselves to actually line up your conveyors nicely. So if we go ahead and place this right about here, nope, here, it's clipped into place, and we can use that edge where the foundations meet as a guide, as well as the green line itself. And you see it's still trying to clip specific areas on the foundation. This makes it so much easier and so much more consistent when you're placing your foundations, which helps keep it nice and organized, which is what we're going to be talking about for the next 4 tips. Tip number 2 is going to help you keep your conveyors nice and tidy, and we're going to be looking at right angles. When it comes to placing right angles, we're going to do what the SIF do and use the rule of 2. By that, what I mean is, for example, if we want to place a right angle right where the foundations meet on that line, we line it up, back it up 2 clip points, just like so, place the conveyor, we then place the conveyor again, line it back up onto that line, and we put in a nice 90-degree angle. Perfect, and it looks so much cleaner and so much nicer than random angles all over the place. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the tips so far, please make sure you like and subscribe. I stream every Sunday at 6 PM UK time. Make sure you come and check it out. Now, back to the tips. Okay, tip number 3 is going to further help organize your conveyor belts, because we're going to be creating a right angle on the outside of the first conveyor belt. Not confusing at all. What we're going to do is we're going to line it up with the bend on the original belt, or the support just after the bend, as you can see here. The other way to do it is do the opposite of what you did originally. Instead of going back to clip points, go forward 2 clip points until you're lined up with the bend, place the belt down, and then you just bend it around the original conveyor, and this will help keep things nice and neat. You get this perfect right angle, and you'll keep the belts nicely organized, and it'll be placed directly next to the original belt, saving you plenty of space and keeping it nice and organized. Tip number 4, still carrying on that theme of keeping things nice and neat and organized, is creating an inside right angle. Go back to tip number 2, this is very similar. All we're going to do is line up the conveyor belt with the support from the previous conveyor belt. We're then going to drop back 2 clip points, such as this, place the conveyor, and then we're going to follow the previous conveyor around, and it lines up perfectly next to the other conveyor belt. Now once you know these tips, you can just follow the previous conveyor belt without any issues, and then when you come back and look at it, you'll see that the conveyor belts snake along next to each other, nice and neat, keeping everything nice and organized and saving you plenty of space, and it just looks so damn good as well. And so for my final tip on keeping your conveyor belts nice and organized is to stack them. This little walkway here is about 3 foundations wide, and you can see I've got quite a few belts here. I've got I think, let me see, blah, 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 this one here, 5 more here. I've got roughly 12 belts just going down this one little walkway, and you can see it, by stacking them I've managed to keep them all very nice and tidy and neat, and I've even given myself a nice walkway down here. Now if we go all the way to the other end to where these belts end, which is a conveyor going up to my storage area, you'll also see that it looks pretty organized as well. Ignore the conveyors on the ceiling, we'll talk about them later, but you can see it just looks really nice and organized at the conveyor endpoint, and it just looks nice and tidy and neat. So as I said, tip number 5, stack your conveyor belts. You won't regret it, and it saves you a lot of space as well. As a bonus tip, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to show you how to mount your conveyor belts onto the ceiling, just like I have done here, to save even more space and keep everything nice and organized. As you can see, looks pretty good. However, with the release of Update 7, CopyStain has made this far easier to do with the release and introduction of ceiling mounts. And you can see it's so much easier, whereas for when I built these, I had to drop walls down from the ceiling, put wall mounts onto them, I had to build conveyor stacks. It was just a pain in the ass. So, for a bonus tip, my advice would be to take full advantage of these new ceiling mounts, and as you can see, it makes things so much easier, and hopefully you'll get some great organization out of it and keep things nice and tidy. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are my top 5 tips for organizing your conveyor belts in Satisfactory. I hope you found them useful. Let me know in the comments below. But as always, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you in the next stream. Goodbye, everybody.